Hello, everyone. Welcome back inside the film room. I'm Zach Owens, and today I am joined once again by Nick Mohammed himself, Nathan Shelley from Ted Lasso. Nick, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me back, Zach. It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Now, I don't know if you know this. I have to inform you that you are our very first ever three-time guest on the show.
Oh,
So it's an honor for us, but it should be an honor for you as well.
that is genuinely a real honor. Wow, that's great. Oh well, third time lucky.
I
I don't
wouldn't.
know if that's the right thing to say.
Third time's the charm. I mean, we've had charms on the
Yeah.
first two times, so the third time's
Okay.
gonna be great as well.
Yeah. Three's
But
three's a crowd. I'm just trying to think of other things.
anything can go here. But
Right.
I know the last time we spoke, so it's been a while. A lot has happened, but not a lot has happened in the same sense, because last time we spoke was right after the season 2 finale dropped. So
Sure.
in the world of the show, not a lot has happened because we've got no new episodes. We don't know what's going on, and nothing has changed on that front. But in the real world, a ton has happened for you, for the cast, especially when it comes to the awards shows. Just dominating as always. Ted Lasso sweeps continue. Producers Guild, SAG, Critics' Choice, all of these shows just handing over awards. Is it just like old hat at this point for you all as you're racking up the awards?
I don't think it is at all. I mean, we honestly, all of us, so great, just so grateful that it is, it means a lot to people. And I think there was obviously a lot of, I think, off the back of season 1 doing well and connecting to people in a time that I think people really responded to it with lockdown and pandemic and so on. So there's quite a lot of pressure on season 2. But I think, the fact that people have enjoyed it. Obviously, people take issue with certain plot lines and so on and so forth. Nathan's one maybe being one of those. But it's just, the kind of award stuff, to a degree, you kind of not got to sort of let it distract you, and you don't really think about it. And it's nice when it happens. And if it doesn't, that's absolutely fine. But it never feels run of the mill. It always feels, that we're just very lucky to be in this wonderful show, and completely grateful for any
Right.
any attention, positive attention like that we're getting.
Well, it's funny when we watch all these award shows, because we've got everybody who's at the show, in the ballroom or wherever it's happening, and then it always has to pan to you guys because you're off filming season 3. You're nowhere to be found. So what's it like to kind of experience that, where it's not the traditional award show, but it's just the Ted Lasso crew partying on their own and getting awards?
It's actually quite nice, because I mean, I haven't been to a ton of award shows, but the ones that I've been to, they are quite long. And one thing that's quite nice about sort of dipping in and out a little bit, if you're sort of, like, I think for the SAG Awards, we were all in London together. I mean, it was the middle of the night, because obviously it was sort of evening time in LA. So it was like 3 a.m. or something like that in the UK. So we were all a bit tired, but I mean, that's a very first world problem, of course, because it was just really nice to be there. But to a degree, we were able to kind of like be, oh, the awards are happening, oh great, yeah, and then they would sort of tell us when it was getting towards maybe one that we were kind of up for, and I think because we won as well, it was like, oh great, and then so someone turned it off. They didn't turn it off, but they were just sort of like,
Okay, time to go to bed now. We don't have to watch the rest.
Yeah, we'll just turn the volume down a little bit, and you can just sort of go back to bed, exactly, because we're filming tomorrow or whatever it was. But yeah, so it feels like a complete treat, and we're very, very grateful. I'm very lucky.
Right. Well, when it's always fun seeing you guys, like when you are just partying in that separate room. And it's funny because I know when we've talked in the past, you've mentioned like filming during lockdown, during the pandemic, that it's been sort of like you haven't been able to have as much of the like going out activities or like group bonding. So I'm curious, as you're filming season 3 now, obviously the pandemic is still a thing, but we're getting better. It's getting on the other side of it. How has this season of filming been different? I know I've seen cast members at basketball games, at football matches, getting to do some fun bonding stuff outside of just filming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is definitely getting a lot better than it was, and that's wonderful. I mean, because I think there was a time in season 2 when the only time that we could really sort of socialize was sort of on set when we had a scene together. So there'd be lots of people who you wouldn't always see, if you didn't have I don't say have many scenes with Hannah or something, so it's nice that we've been able to socialize. I think like the rest of the world, it's just nice to be able to kind of hang out with friends. We've been doing this together now for the last 2.5 years or whatever, so it sort of really feels like a little family. And
Right.
we're obviously in the thick of season 3 at the moment, but yeah, the fact that we're able to sort of things are a little bit more normal, a bit more like how they were in season 1, I guess, than season
Right.
2.
Right. And I know I've even seen like the set photos of people in Amsterdam. It looks like the cast is spreading out a little bit more from just, home base in Richmond. So I'm sure that's
Yeah.
an exciting opportunity to get to kind of expand as well. But
Yeah.
speaking of you and the cast and everybody, I know you retweeted the announcement of Jodie Balfour joining the cast for season 3. Another Apple TV Plus star coming over from For All Mankind.
Yeah, which I love that show, by the way. I'm a
Right?
huge fan of that show.
You could pull anyone from any Apple TV show and just swap them around, plug them in, and it'd be a perfect hit. But I know she's joining. We know she's joining as Jack, a charming venture capitalist. So maybe some work with Keeley there. We'll have to wait and see. But what has it been like getting to work with her and having her kind of join into the cast?
Well, obviously, I'm like kind of limited in what I can say because I don't want to kind of give away no spoilers. But I mean, she's absolutely fantastic and brilliant. And honestly, when I found out, and I kind of found out more or less when that press release came out, really.
Right.
I mean, I was just like, oh my goodness. And I am yet to properly kind of geek out over For All Mankind, but I'm going to need like hours to sort of talk about that because I'm a massive like sort of just space sort of sci-fi kind of fan anyway. So
you're going back to your college background.
Well, exactly, yeah. It kind of stems from that. So yeah, I can't wait to kind of properly talk to you about that. But yeah, I mean, God, what an honor. And yeah, there's some some really fun casting this time around.
I imagine just knowing the caliber of women that we have, from Hannah to Juno, all of the strong, powerful women that she's going to fit right in and be another badass character for us.
Yeah, Sarah as well. Yeah, it's great. It's really exciting.
So with her, I know you just mentioned huge fan of For All Mankind. With her being an Apple TV alumni, is there a show? We had Sam Richardson as well, who got his show with the After Party, and he's been on Lasso. Is there a show that you would like to cross over to in the Apple universe that you think would be fun to take a spot on?
Oh, well, the After Party would have been good, but I think they've just announced season 2, and I'm not casting it, so I don't think.
There's still time. Maybe Sam.
Maybe if anybody's listening. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of For All Mankind, huge fan. The Morning Show, I love. After Party would be good. I mean, retrospectively, in Coda, I don't know. I don't think
get an Oscar. Why don't you?
Yeah, can you imagine? But yeah, no. So it's very nice to think that we're kind of part of an Apple TV family. That's quite cool.
How are the pipes, the singing? Could you go in Schmigadoon?
I'd love to think that I could go on Schmigadoon, but I don't think I've got that. I definitely don't have the pipes. So no, that's unless they're able to do that in post or something. I don't know. Maybe they can.
Tim Cook, Apple CEO. If you're watching this, put Nick in everything over there. Well, I know going back to our last interview back in October of 2021, I asked you not what you think is going to happen, but what would you like to have happen with Nate if season 3 is the end? And you said, as a romantic, you obviously would like to have him have this redemption arc and come back around. But you could see that maybe he's gone too far. So he could be too lost to bring back in. Personally, I don't necessarily want that to happen. I want him to be this, if it were up to me, I want him to be the vessel that teaches Ted that not everything is positive, not everything's okay. It's not always going to work out. But now that you've sat since October to now, since I guess we can't get into season 3, but since the start of season 3, during that time span, as you kind of sat with this, was there any change of heart between what you would like to have happen as you kind of got reactions from fans, from family, anything, or were you still set on redeeming Nate? He's still good at it.
It's so tricky because we're obviously literally right in the thick of it. So I have to just be careful that I don't trip myself up with anything I say. But I don't think I've had a change of heart since then. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the online reaction was quite visceral in a really fun way. I think it did shock quite a few people that Nate left in such a dramatic and maybe even cruel way. Some of the stuff that he was saying to Ted, I mean, I think a lot of the fan base would. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of the fan base really, but I would hope, given that Ted Lasso is a show about optimism and hope. I think you could see a lot of the fans saying, but surely he's a character who they can redeem, if they can redeem Hannah and Jamie, can they redeem Nate? But I go back to what I said, I think, in that interview, and I know more now than I did then. maybe he's the one character who they can't, because there's a lot to unpick there with Nate.
Right.
Not that there wasn't a lot to unpick with Rebecca and with Jamie's storylines, but Nate is a troubled character.
Well, hope is not lost, because I know you said the one character, but there have been no signs of redeeming Rupert yet. So maybe he's the one character
yeah.
to come back.
Yeah.
So.
That'd be an interesting one, isn't it? But who knows? Never say never. But yeah, I won't spoil anything. But yeah. Let's everyone keep our fingers crossed that Rupert becomes the hero of season 3.
Yeah, that would be quite unexpected. Well, speaking of like these crazy theories, I know I've asked you and other people that I've interviewed like what they would like to have happen in season 3, but I'm gonna flip it since I've already asked you that. Okay. The fans have just as many wishes for these characters as you do. Have you seen what is the craziest, the most intriguing, funniest, anything that stood out to you from a fan theory perspective that really is just like, wow, I haven't heard that one before? What it could be about your character or just the show as a whole.
Gosh, obviously I see a lot of online stuff about everyone wanting Ted and Rebecca to get together. I've seen that.
Yeah,
I think that's a big one. That's an obvious one. That's fun. That's a fun idea, isn't it? I've heard obviously the one about Roy being a robot. That's or Brett being a robot. I don't know.
The nod to that. I know you weren't in it, but the Red Nose Day skit.
Yeah, the comic relief skit.
I can help you with CGI.
Yeah. I can't comment on that. But God, what's some of the outlandish theories that I've seen? To be honest, none of them are that I think the fan base is quite, they're an articulate fan base,
right?
Grounded, in a sense that a lot of some of the storylines that people, because Ted Lasso deals with a lot of real stuff, human emotion and relationships falling, it's quite a realistic show. So often when people are, sometimes, for better or worse, sort of triggered by some of the subject matter in the show or some of the stuff that they see, and then talk about where they would like to see it heading or what they fear might happen, it's because it's kind of grounded in some sense of reality. And I think that there's certainly not been any kind of I think that, Jamie's gonna sort of, blast off into space or something like that. They've all been quite realistic, and I think quite like, oh yeah, that'd be quite, that would be interesting to sort of see that happen. But all I can say, one thing I can say about season 3, which doesn't give anything away, is to absolutely expect the unexpected, because as per the writers have just massively delivered in terms of playing with people's expectations and just taking stories in weird and wonderful directions, which is really exciting. And everyone is in agreement. Like when we've been getting these scripts, we're like reading them like we're and we are fans of the show, but just been like, like page, like, oh, I want to see what's happening with this character, and oh my goodness, I can't believe that's happened. So there's some exciting stuff to happen.
Is it to the level where do you get the script, like the whole script, or is it we've heard in some of those Game of Thrones shows where it's like, oh, we only get our lines because we can't have anybody know anything.
Oh, really? So far they've been sending me the full scripts, but maybe the stuff that's in those other scenes that I'm not in are just like made up scenes that aren't happening, and they're just trying to hide everything. No, I've seen up until episode 6, but I know what happens at the end.
Gotcha. Well, the theories, here's a crazy one for you. I know we've gotten a lot of Star Wars parallels, Jason being a big Star Wars fan, and then the references and saying the first season was A New Hope, the second one was Empire Strikes Back. So if the third one is Return of the Jedi, I can only imagine that you as Darth Vader are going to pick up Rupert and throw him down a reactor core at West Ham and save the day. That's how right?
I can officially confirm that is how it ends. And I'm surprised that you guessed it, but that is true. There is an incredible, obviously that analogy, Jason and a few people have talked about that analogy to Star Wars. And if this season were Return of the Jedi, there is an absolutely, I won't say what it is, and I can tweet it at the end of one of the season's run. There is an absolutely incredible reference to Return of the Jedi from a design point of view in one scene, and it is I didn't pick up on it, but the designer Paul, he showed me this clip and I was like, oh my god, that's incredible. And it's a tiny little thing.
I'm gonna be locked in during this now. Every episode.
I was just like, that's really cool, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan as well, so I was like, yeah, that's good. That's
awesome. Well, I'm excited for everything that's to come in season 3. I appreciate you for stopping in for round 3 with us. It was great to chat with you, Nick. and we'll have to see what comes in season 3.
Thanks so much, Zach. Brilliant. Take care. I'll see you again.
Have a good one. If you enjoyed that interview, be sure to subscribe down below so that you can stay up to date with all our latest Ted Lasso interviews, as well as our podcast episodes, movie and TV news, and more. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, The Rewind, so that you can get all of our interviews delivered straight to your inbox.